From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy. The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Let's go, man. Live show. First time in a long time. Thanks for being here, everybody. Florida State ever closer to playing a football game this season with real big, important consequences on August 30th against Alabama in a brand new Doak Campbell Stadium. We cannot wait. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Aslan. Over yonder distances, Corey Clark. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Show some support, show some love as we get back into we're officially now in the football season, Corey. In case nobody else got the memo, now that we're doing a live show in the middle of the week, we are officially back. Feels good to be back.
It does. And next week is when football actually starts. Florida State's not playing week 0, but there are some games on week 0, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there has to be. There's probably a game in Ireland. So, yeah, we're here. Once we get to Sunday, we've officially reached college football season.
There was somebody that asked on the mailbag that we didn't get to yesterday, Corey, about what is our approach to week 0 games? Do you go all out with a whole Saturday of good football food, or do you save that for the real week 1 games?
Yeah, no, that's not week 0. It's like exhibition. It's like the final exhibition game. I don't even know who's playing. It's certainly not week 1. I am genuinely excited about week 1 because they're spread out too. Like I think Texas, Ohio State is noon. Is that right? There's like Notre Dame, Miami is that weekend. LSU Clemson. Yeah. Georgia Tech, Colorado is a sneaky, interesting game. So, yeah, man, I'm just really excited about all the week 1 games. There's some really good matchups.
You can't be any more excited for this one with Alabama and Florida State. Can we get a Yower number 2 on headlines if Florida State's victorious?
No, because we don't know.
Nope. Corey just accidentally kicked out his microphone. It's fine, everybody. He's got it figured out. He likes kicking back and kind of rocking in his non-rocking chair.
Stepped on my mic somehow. We don't know how good Alabama is. So that's why I don't want to give an hour. What if Alabama goes 8-4? And then I wasted a Yower number 2 on beating a 4 or 5 loss team. So if they get to the playoff, that's absolutely deserving of it. But we can't lower our standards here.
You're right. How about this? It's been a while since I could do this.
What?
It has been a while. What are you showing? I don't see anything. Oh, boom! Boy. There you go, James B.
I need to start doing my Gus Malzahn, like, boom, fist pump. That's his thing. I don't know if I think he might have done one, or maybe he did one in Pasadena. But once the sun went down, not as many.
Yeah. I think he definitely did one when they got up 21-3.
Yeah.
He did they were on their way. They were on their way.
James B's the dude, everybody. I'm trying to hustle home, but I might miss the show. Just wanted to keep tradition going. $200 in the jar. That's a hell of a tradition. Don't have to do that, James B, but we appreciate the heck out of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all have fun. We'll try.
James B is part of the crew, and there's more than a few Wake Up Warchant listeners that'll be in Doak for that sneak peek thing on Saturday, where they get to look at the stadium for the first time and see how close it is to actually being game ready. So that's exciting for the big money boosters on. I think it's this. Yeah, I know it's this weekend. I'm not sure what time, but sometime this weekend.
Ouch! Not good.
What?
I won't be here this weekend, big dog.
Oh, that's too bad, Aslan. That's too bad. Dry those tears, James B. Dry those tears. Aslan's not going to be in Tallahassee.
I'm more worried about the tears from Irish O'Fell when he's like, "Why are you not in town?" I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. Some housekeeping from yesterday's show. We had a couple people come at us with not knowing the best twins in football history, but then you set the stage and you set the record clear, Corey, by mentioning the Pouncey twins, mentioning the Barber twins. So just glad everybody's recognized that we can think on the fly sometimes, especially our guy, Corey Clark.
Well, I looked him up, but also, I was pretty adamant that I knew we were forgetting people. It's not like I was like confident that the Desir twins were the best football playing twins of all time. I knew there was some out there. I just couldn't think of them. And then thank God for Google. They pointed me in the right direction, and then the Barber twins came to mind. I remember watching those guys in college. They were pretty good.
They were. So here's a tricky thing. I'm going to give this person what they deserve, and that's so YouTube's done something different. Tom Lang gave me a heads up on this, Corey. Apparently, it no longer shows like their name; it shows their username. So I don't know who RTKN004 is. Maybe it's Ray Pereira in a new name or something. But thank you, RTKN04. Thanks for getting us through the lulls of the summer, Corey. How could you forget Joe and Henry
Ostaszewski
as another Seminole set of twins?
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And both played in the early '90s. They were on that the defensive line for Florida State, and one of them, I don't know if it's Joe or Henry. I apologize. Was on The Biggest Loser, the show, and lost a bunch of weight. It was a really kind of emotional deal. And then one of their kids was on the team a few years ago, if I remember correctly. So Ostaszewskis are Seminoles through and through. But they were, if the people that don't know, and there's a lot of you that wouldn't remember because this was over 30 years ago, they were number 74, number 75, if I remember correctly, two twins that played defensive line for Mickey Andrews in the early 90s during the dynasty run. And that's on me. That's on me. I was some reason I was flustered yesterday with all that twin talk.
Wow. Shout out to our guy, Florida Man in Texas, one of the YouTube premier subscribers. Let's dream for a minute. If Corey and I are celebrating a Nole win over Bama by 3 to 7 points on the wrap-up show, also known as the Warchant Wrap, who or what segment group will be responsible? I think the offensive line, man. I think the offensive line is going to be able to create enough space, run lanes to let this offense thrive. Because, as you said, I think earlier this week, Corey, right? That first drive against Georgia Tech was the thing of beauty. But then after that, whatever happened, adjustments made by Georgia Tech or just not the fighting spirit in Florida State's offensive line just faded rapidly. So if they can hold up and block this offense, I think we'll be all right. So I think we'll be tipping our cap to the offensive line. I don't think it's going to be a 21-17 win. I think it would have to be like some sort of like 27-24 win, and we'll give the offense their flowers. Yeah,
I mean, I think if they're going to – but, I mean, there might be some plays that Florida State's quarterback makes that are in spite of the offensive line. Maybe the offensive line loses a couple of battles, but it's hard for defensive ends and defensive tackles to get that guy on the ground. He breaks containment, runs for 30 yards or hits a play downfield. So I really think I'm not trying to put – well, he doesn't care. He's the Florida State quarterback. There's a lot of pressure that's inherent with that job. If they win this game, doesn't it feel like it's almost a necessity that Castellanos plays well? Not just doesn't lose the game. He can't be a game manager. He has to go win the game. There'll be other games where they'll have more talent. They'll have a talent advantage, and he just doesn't maybe have to lose it. He can just play pretty well or serviceable. But I feel like to beat Alabama, Tommy Castellanos is going to have to be the reason why. Because you're right. I don't expect a 17-10 win. I think you're going to have to score, dare I say, Aslan, 4 touchdowns.
Ooh.
I know. It's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. But you're going to have to score like 4 touchdowns to win this game. And Castellanos is going to be in the middle of probably all of those touchdown drives or all of those touchdowns, it would appear or seem.
I can't corroborate this, so maybe I shouldn't put up on the screen, but our viewer, Christopher Mann, says that he saw an article that quoted an insider that said Tommy's been wildly inconsistent. Is that real talk? I just don't. What would be wildly consistent versus, I don't know, like who? Like Jameis Winston, 2013 prime? I don't think he's ever going to be like this efficient 68, 70% completion percentage guy, Corey. He's going to have to do the things that you just talked about, like make plays happen when they're really not there. And the occasional scramble drill, kind of find somebody downfield after you've been running around and the secondary's got a little bit gassed. I don't think it's going to be these methodical surgical drives where, I almost want to write this down if I could think about it after the season's over. Corey, I wonder how many drives Tommy will have more than 4 completions, like a touchdown drive that he'll have more than 4 completions in,
It could be 0. It could be like less than 5 for the whole season, like that. So wildly inconsistent in regards to what? And no, I don't know. We have not heard that. I mean, we haven't heard that he's, looks like a Heisman contender either, but we certainly haven't heard that he's been wildly inconsistent. I would say this though, that would not surprise me if he's pretty inconsistent this year. He's a thrower of the football, but I think you got to kind of shift. I was thinking about talking to Jeff Cameron about this because he clearly doesn't like Castellanos, doesn't think he's a very good quarterback. But you've got to, or he's just not Florida State standard. You almost have to shift your perspective of what a quarterback is when you're talking about a mobile quarterback and a Gus Malzahn offense. Like you don't need him to be 21 out of 26 for 260. That's not what he is. But if he throws for 180 and runs for 80, well, buddy, that's 260 yards and probably 3 touchdowns. So whether he might always be inconsistent, go ahead and expect that Castellanos is going to be an inconsistent thrower of the football. But that does not mean he can't be an effective quarterback, especially in Gus Malzahn's offense. And his legs aren't inconsistent. As long as he's healthy, those things are the most dependable thing on this entire team is his mobility going into the season anyway.
Clarification, RTKN04 is our boy T. Giddy.
Yeah. Nice, T. Giddy. Good to have you back.
Sorry, Corey, did you say something? I couldn't hear you over my air horn.
Sorry, I was just telling T. Giddy it's good to have him back. Good to see him again. Good to see him again.
Saw this guy around town last week. I guess this is Z-Chan. For the glory of him.
Okay.
He does say it's Z-Chan. I'm gonna give him a little. Let's mix it up a little bit. There we go. Z-Chan's the Marin, everybody. He's also a Bowden Society member. Shouldn't blow up his spot, but he is.
Yeah, I assume he'll be in Doak. In fact, I know he'll be in Doak this weekend too. So all the big ones are coming home.
Yo, my 2 favorite people named Corey and Aslan.
Thanks, buddy.
Z-Chan, by the way. What score in the Alabama game would be encouraging to you moving forward? I assume it doesn't have to be a win. Go Noles.
Thank you, Z-Chan. Thank you, James B. And thank you, T. Giddy. Thank you all. That's very, very kind. It's good to be back. We certainly don't expect this or demand it, but we really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think the score you said.
27-24?
27-24, one way or the other. And Jeff was bringing this up because look, man, if they get blown out, there are degrees of being blown out, right? What if Florida State's losing 24 to, let's say 30-24 in the fourth quarter, and then Alabama scores 2 touchdowns late? Like maybe they score a touchdown to put it away and then a pick 6 or something, and the final is 44-24. If you're in the game in the fourth quarter, I'm encouraged by that, man. I really am, because we don't know. Again, Alabama might be mediocre, but this might be the toughest opponent you play all season. And you have a brand new offense, literally a brand new offense, like all 11, two brand new coordinators, and you're starting off the season with Alabama. So if you can hang there, I feel like you're encouraged. Now, the problem is you thought that after 2021 too, how encouraged we were that they hung with Notre Dame, right? They took Notre Dame, big bad Notre Dame, to overtime, and then next thing they know, you're losing to Jacksonville State. So it doesn't mean that it's great or it's going to be great, but that would encourage me, whether it's 17-13 or 30-27, whatever the score might be in the third quarter where you're in the game, third or fourth quarter where you're in the game, and then Alabama wears you down because they're better up front. I can live with that. That would be something that would be encouraging to me.
Our guy Quantrell knows. Saban, Simpson, scoreboard. Noles by 7, August 30th. Aslan, cue the iconic brand drop.
An iconic brand.
Let's do what the people say. Game like a Dylan, not doing what people say. He gives $10 in the super chat. This is for Corey, he says, because he demanded it.
I didn't. You misheard me. I did not demand it.
Never.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Truly, I don't think we've ever asked. So it's crazy. It's incredible how this all started, and we keep doing this, and everybody's so
it would be crazy if we did ask. Like,
I know,
guys,
right?
what are you doing? Where's our money? Come on now. That's not what we're doing. We don't do this for that. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I do not demand it. I want to get that out of the way right now. I want to clarify again. We don't demand money. We appreciate it. We do not demand it.
We demand you subscribe to warchant.com, though. Come on,
There you go.
everybody.
Perfect.
$1 for a week. Year membership to The Athletic.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Good deal, by the way, that Athletic. I'm telling you. So really good writers. And if you're like a Mets fan or a Braves fan, you get all that kind of coverage too with your subscription to The Athletic. It's real journalism over there.
Dollar bills, y'all.
More real American currency. Another YouTube Premier, YouTube Premium member. I forgot what the fancy title is, but we appreciate it. Never lose your nerd. Great to see y'all live. Corey, you are a beautiful bald man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel good sometimes. I feel good about myself sometimes.
Very excited, but cautiously optimistic for the season to start and loving Coach Tony White. I feel like he's not alone. Tony White quickly making a very positive impression on a lot of people within the fan base, it seems like, Corey.
It's funny, though, because it's like, yes, he is and he should, but think about this fan base, and I know we're going back now 15 years now, but this fan base grew up on Mickey Andrews. They grew up on tough love and a tough-minded defensive coach who did not at all mind questioning his team's physicality or toughness or want to. That's just part of who he was. And then from there, you went to coordinators that you couldn't talk to you because Jimbo wouldn't let them. And then you went to Harlan Barnett. And then who was after Harlan Barnett?
Defensive coordinator? What kind of Jim Leavitt?
/ Randy Shannon for a year maybe. And then you went to Adam Fuller, who, God love him, Adam Fuller is
wasn't Randy Shannon. No, Randy.
I thought Randy might have been an interim DC for one of those years. But either way, then you went to, Adam Fuller, a Yankee from Boston, who maybe Florida State fans weren't used to. And now you get a no-nonsense guy like Tony White, who just demands respect. Not that Adam Fuller didn't. I'm not saying that, but it is a different message. It's a different vehicle delivering the message, and I think Florida State fans are very, very excited about it.
Man, we got so many questions coming in. I'm going to need help this year to keep up with everything. This is insane. We had a question that had the word fulcrum in it, Corey. So
wow. Okay.
I need to put that
Hey,
up.
Speaking of, real quick, Amari Williams today, very impressive young man. Also very confident in his ability. I think about what maybe in 2 years, Aslan, if these things pan out, you have like a Javon Boggs, an Usman Cromall, an Amari Williams, a Duty. You have like legitimate stars. You have legitimate stars that have come up through your system. Because Amari Williams, again, much like Cromall and Boggs, kind of handles himself like a star. But what I wanted to say was he was asked about the differences between Coach Thompson and Coach Knighton because he works with both. And he said they're polar opposites. And it just warms my heart to hear teenagers talk like that. To even know what polar opposites means and to use it in a sentence. That's not a football player slam. That's a teenager slam. Just you don't hear, and I think he's 18. He's either 18, he's young. 18 or 19 to be able to talk like that and to communicate like that. It's just impressive, much like James Williams using the word archetype. These defensive ends, man, they're a bright crew. So that's even if they can't play at all, I'm excited for the way they talk.
Robert Renaissance, bigger fulcrum game. Virginia or NC State? Virginia, the team could potentially pack it in or believe in itself heading into October. NC State could be the difference between 8 or more wins and 7 or less. Good question.
It is a good question. I think, yes. I just beat Virginia, man. You know what I mean? Like, beat Virginia. If that's your fulcrum, if that's the biggest game of the year, the one that kind of dictates where the season goes, how it swings, that's bad news. You need to go in there and handle business and win that game. Might not be easy. You probably won't be favored. If you're favored, it won't be by like 20 points, probably. So just go win that game. The NC State game that's a really pivotal one, right? There's a chance that could be. Both of them are kind of for Norvell's job, right?
Well,
in a sense,
I mean, it's the penultimate game of the regular season, so that the hay's kind of going to be in the barn, kind of by that point in the season. But
about what you feel, about what you feel. To your point, the way the season is going to go, is going to be dictated much more by like the Virginia game than the NC State game. By the time you get to NC State, you know where the season is. It's already on the track. So, yeah, I guess I'd say Virginia. Both Friday night road games. Isn't the ACC awesome? Couple of Friday night roadies. Wow. Spencer in the house.
He's a big football fan and a big football fan.
He is. Football.
Yeah, football. If you know, you know. $2.50 in the jar from our dude, Spencer.
Spencer, what are you doing? Kelly, all my love. Spencer, you're the best, buddy.
27. Is he at the game? Aren't the Noles playing the Gators here in a few?
That's tomorrow night, and he'll be there. You
Okay.
best believe he'll be there. That's so Spencer now lives in Tampa. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, they moved to Tampa, but he's such a big soccer fan that he's coming up for the opener against Florida tomorrow night. He flew, and I've mentioned this on the show before, he flew to Santa Clara to watch them win the national championship whenever that was. 22 maybe? Whenever that was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for one game. He didn't even go there for the semifinals. He flew up for the championship game and flew home. So, big time soccer fan. And he thinks the Noles are going to win 27-24.
There we go. Suck it, Bama, he adds. 2023 national title.
Is that what he said, too?
I don't know. I didn't. Did he comment in the comments? I can't see everything. I only got 2 sets of eyes, although I got glasses on.
Well, you said 2023 national title. And I don't see that anywhere on the screen. That's why I was confused.
Oh, no. They did win in 2021 as well, but I don't think that was the Santa Clara. Was that the Santa Clara year? I should check that out.
One of them they won in North Carolina, I thought. One of them they scored like 6. They won like 6-0 or 6-1. That was 23. So, yeah, 21, I think, was in Santa Clara. It doesn't matter, does it? But Spencer was there. Spencer goes to all the college cups. God love him.
They lost to Santa Clara one year. Anyways,
They did.
you guys are here for the other football. Let's get a question here.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, buddy.
Incredible, Spence. I can't wait till I have my new setup, but I digress. Florida, this touchpad real quick. It never wants to do left click. It always wants to do right click. So then I can't pull the comments up on the screen. But anyway, Florida Man Texas follow-up question. If FSU drops the Alabama game poorly, who or what segment group is likely responsible? Coaches and penalties are included in this option.
Look, I think line of scrimmage is where you really wonder, both sides, obviously. I think your offensive line should be okay because of the veteran experience. And they played, Pettis and Hansen have played against Alabama multiple times and beaten them. At least Hansen did. So I think that I worry more about the defensive line. I think if you can't get pressure on Simpson and if you're getting run on, I think that's the game. If you can at least hold your own on the defensive front, whether it's through scheme or whether it's through your guys are better than maybe we think they are right now, then you've got a really fighting chance. But if you are kind of overmatched, that's going to be and look, it might not mean that your defensive line sucks. It might just mean that Alabama's got a really good offensive line, and we'll see as the season goes whether this defensive line, morphs into something. But I feel like if they get blown out, turnovers obviously, but besides that, position group, I would say defensive line.
I'm going to go off the board, kind of. I'm going to say secondary.
Okay.
I get it. Maybe they just end up getting pushed around. Alabama's just going to run the ball until you prove that you can stop it. But I think for them to get blown out, that Ty Simpson's guy's going to have some sort of coming out, playing above his head moment, and it's going to be throwing the ball downfield with like a really talented trio of receivers, like really talented. I mean, them in Clemson, it's pretty nerve-wracking when you think about the talent they have out wide. But you get to the quarterback and you affect them, it mitigates that a little bit, but we'll see if they can do that week 1 right out the gates. Corey Bates in the house, everybody. Give it up one time. By the way, if anybody's over in Duval, Clay County, if you need your car detailed, Bates Detailing, everybody.
Oh, there you go. Well done, Aslan. Well done.
What up? Why is Allen?
You know who he means. You know who he means.
Shunning Mike Norvell during interviews. How should I expect Bama fans to treat us at Doak? Are they obnoxious like Florida Miami fans? Can't wait to see the new renovations. I want to say I'm shunning him. I'm simply being a man of my word. So real quick, for those who are not initiated into what we talked about last year on the program, welcome, by the way. Hit the thumbs up. We appreciate that. Brian Kelly did something towards the end of last year, or maybe after the season was over, where he donated $1 million of his own salary to help out LSU's NIL efforts. And I said that jokingly, kind of, if Mike Norvell does that, I won't ask him a single question until the Miami game. And then within a week or two, the news came out about I don't know if it really is $4 million. He gets it back if he gets fired. I don't know how it all works, but he did make the gesture of offering his own money to help out with NIL. So I am not going to ask him a question until the Miami game. So that's what's going on here, everybody.
I thought it was because I swore it was because you said he wouldn't give up play calling.
That was the dinner that I took you and Stephanie out on.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Man, you just keep doubting on Mike Norvell, and it keeps costing you. Although I don't think Norvell's complaining that he's been shunned. What you know, Bama fans better than I do. But thank you very much, Corey. By the way, thank you. And hey, Aslan gave you some pub for the detailing business, so that's nice. Well, I don't think I've ever really been around a bunch of Alabama fans. I assume they're pretty obnoxious. Not because they're obnoxious people per se, but when you've been so good for so long, that kind of comes with there's an air of superiority, I have to imagine.
Nailed it. Yeah. It's an earned arrogance they have. Yeah. The Gator stuff is, the Miami stuff is when I usually tell myself, like, I hate Florida so much more than Miami. I can't believe anybody else that roots for Florida State could be torn between the two. But then every 2 years I go down to South Florida with Ira and I walk through that parking lot to get into that stadium. I'm like, this is why we hate Miami as well.
It's like Mad Max.
So they all have their different sort of idiosyncrasies when it comes to being annoying. But
Miami's one of one though.
Yes,
just because of the nature of the fan base. In the face paint, it's like the Oakland Raiders, and they have like the same recent history as the Oakland Raiders as far as wins. But they treat themselves as if they're the show. Like the Miami fans act as if they're the show. Yeah. We got to do our we got to wear all the jewelry. We got to put on our spike pads and face paint, and just be like they try to do it. They try to be look at us, look at me, look at me, look at me. Alabama, yeah, I think that's an earned arrogance is the right, but we'll see. We'll see on Saturday. Maybe they will 3 Saturdays from now. Yeah. Maybe they won't be so arrogant walking out of Doak.
Hayden Guy says, I think my measly $1.99 is not appreciated. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Dollar bills, y'all.
There's a lot of questions. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, we're so important and busy, but there's a lot of questions coming in right now. So I'm trying to get through all of them in some sort
Hayden
of.
Guy, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. What college football coach has been Alabama's Gus Malzahn, right? What college football coach has been Alabama's worst enemy?
Yeah, he's the current coach. I would guess him. I would say in the history of the program, though, you think about how close they were to hiring Bobby Bowden after the 1986 season. He wanted the job, but they made him interview. He wanted to be offered the job. He's offer only at that point. He had been at Florida State for 10 years and been to like 9 bowl games and resurrected a horrible, moribund program into top 15 caliber. And then Alabama's like, we want to interview you. And he basically said, go F yourselves. I'm not interviewing, and I'll go to Florida State. Oh, yeah, now I'll start a dynasty for the next decade and a half while you languish in mediocrity, which is kind of what Alabama did, save for the 2 Stallings years. So maybe – and what about Mike Price, Mike DeBoer? They're pretty big Alabama enemies too.
I think Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tommy Tuberville, I think he might have had a good win-loss record in the Iron Bowl, surprisingly. So, yeah. But, yeah, I think, recently we think about Gus. But I mean, Gus won 13 on the kick 6. I don't think he beat Alabama again until 2017. And then I know he usually kept it tight, but it's just that nobody ever beats Nick Saban. Except like Hugh Freeze beat him twice. Like Hugh Freeze was this real big rock star, right? So, he never won the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. One of the wins that he had was the kick 6, which was completely improbable. But yeah, there are some fans when you go on Bama Online and you check out their message board that, they feel good about their team, but they do say ... Gus being on that other sideline. They're like, if Gus walks out in a sweater vest in 100-degree weather, I'm going to be really nervous because that's what he would always wear as the, head coach at Auburn. He'd always wear that the mock turtleneck long sleeve and then the sweater vest on top of it. So they're like, they got some PTSD from that.
Florida State fans should be comforted by that. They're like, you absolutely know your OC is not going to be overwhelmed or, panicking because of the other sideline. He's used to it. He was in the SEC for 15 years. He beat them at least a handful of times, played them close a handful of other times. He is not going to be overwhelmed or shaking in his boots because Alabama has crossed the sideline. And look, man, I would have said the same thing about Mike Norvell going into last year, but now I don't know. Like, I don't trust him not to maybe be overwhelmed by playing Alabama, but Gus Malzahn won't be. And Tony White just played a schedule that had Ohio State on it. He didn't seem to be overwhelmed either. So those are both positives. Wow. What?
I don't know.
Yeah. In the 90s, Alabama was bad. Alabama was bad for a while now. So that was pre-Saban, probably most of it. But yeah, there you go. Tuberville won 6 in a row against Alabama.
Usually we start off the show. I was so excited that we did the live show. I forgot to thank the people that make this possible. And that is our awesome friends over at Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, shake it and take it. We would be doing the show right now, even if Vitamin Energy wasn't around. But I just want everybody to know that we were still cranking out 3, 4, 5 shows a week in June and May because they hung into the pocket with us even after 2-10 season where a lot of people started tuning out. So if you have been here since, day one, brick by brick, when we started building this thing up, I guess, Warchant, Wake Up Warchant 2.0 with Corey and myself, there's a lot of times where we would do maybe like one show a week in June or one show a week in May because it's like, well, we don't really have any big sponsors, so we don't really need to do it. But they kept us energized and motivated to do shows all the time. So give them some love. Check out vitaminenergy.com, shake it and take it. Synergistically formulated energy potion, vitamins and nutrients, one little bottle. You take it everywhere you got to go. It's awesome how that works. Also, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Corey. That's where we'll be Friday night before the Alabama game. Hope we see a lot of you folks there as well. And I'm sure you'll be there a few times before August 29th as well, Corey Clark, because it's just the best sports bar in Tallahassee, period.
Period, point blank. There's not even a discussion. And I'll say this, maybe it's a lull, but I was there on Tuesday night playing trivia. We won. Hold your applause. Tom Lang was there. Tom Lang was a big help. It was a great win for Buy Steph a Drink. Didn't see one single TV on Little League Baseball. Not one. Didn't have to watch a 12-year-old cry after striking out. It was great. It was wonderful. So that was if you don't want to see Little League Baseball, maybe Corner Pocket could be the place for you.
CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Let's see here. Not that I don't believe our guy. Going back into the archives here. So 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from 2002 to 2007, Auburn won every Iron Bowl.
Yeah, so that was right. And then including one over Saban.
Yeah.
Xavier Lee beat Saban that year too,
That's
by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Hey, before we get to some of these questions, Corey, we did talk to Mike Norvell and Amari Williams and
Stephon Thompson.
Thank you. Special teams, we should talk about that a little bit, I guess. So, because we got a question here about Jalen Lucas and why we're not talking about him. Shout out to our guy Marshall, who was out there at UNF. Don't want to blow his cover, but he was out there watching some stuff, and he saw Jalen Lucas obviously make some plays. So it sounds like Jalen Lucas, Squirrel White, punt returners when we spoke to Mike.
And Deuce.
Okay, well, it's still Deuce, yeah. Punt returner, I don't know I don't know if he gave us any details on that, but I know you asked.
No, punt returner was that. Punt returner was Lucas, Squirrel White, and Deuce.
Sorry, kickoff return.
Yeah.
Sam Singleton was the first name he mentioned, I think, when it came to kickoff.
And then Lucas was second.
Okay.
I think that's probably going to be your two guys. And yeah, man, I mean, I feel like I've talked about Lucas at least a good amount of the time, just because of how excited I am for what Malzahn can use him to be, what he can do with a talent like that. Because yeah, man, I think Jalen Lucas is going to play and going to be a big part of the offense. I don't know that he's going to get 20 touches a game. In fact, I know he's not, but he could get 8 for 90, or he hits a 60-yarder, which he is absolutely capable of. he could be a really matchup problem, man. He's a really quick, fast twitch, fast, experienced guy that can play multiple positions and multiple roles, can handle the ball, can run the ball, and catch it out of the backfield. I think he's going to be a nice weapon for them, for sure.
What about, sounds like Max Tremento might be a little bit more consistent than I thought. We both saw the way he would absolutely boom punts last year, sometimes dwarfing even what Alex Mastromano was getting off, but sometimes he'd get off the side of the foot and it wasn't all that great. But it sounds like maybe there's more consistency there. That's a good development. And then I don't know, you asked him about Jake Weinberg, I think, the presumed starting place kicker.
So he said he did not, I think he missed 2 kicks in the first scrimmage, not good. Then he said in the scrimmage on Sunday, he missed his first kick, which you're like, all right, that's not good news either. But then he said he made his next 5 or 6. He attempted either 5 or 6 more. He couldn't remember. Norvell we're talking about when we asked him on Wednesday about him. He said he made his next 5 or 6 and then had a good day on Wednesday. So good, because I think he said Wednesday was a very heavy special teams practice. And he said Weinberg looked good on Wednesday too. Again, man, this is something that's kind of been under the radar, as it usually is at most programs. When you go 2-10, you got a lot bigger worries than your kicker and your punter. But you did have 2 great kicker, a great kicker and a great punter last year, and you lost them both. Can these guys be, I don't know, man, close to replicas of it? Can they be anything close, reasonable facsimiles of what Fitzgerald and Mastromano were? Because that's going to be a big part of this team and a big part of this season. If they can be competent to good, especially Weinberg, right? Like you need a guy that you can count on. The 50-yarders are great. The 60-yarders, that's a lot of fun. Can he make kicks routinely from 30 to 40 yards or 30 to 50 yards? Those are where you win or lose games, especially when you're a decent team but not a great team. A lot of stuff comes down to kicks, man. And so it sounds like Norvell likes what he's seen from Weinberg after the first miss of the scrimmage on Sunday. But just like Tremento, we know that dude has a monster leg. So does Weinberg. We know they have monster legs. But it is different when there's 70,000 people in a stadium watching you do it for the first time. And, oh, yeah, the other side of the line of scrimmage is a la effing Bama. Like, can you handle that? That's what has to be proven.
Speaking of atmosphere, Old Soul Noel in the house, dropping $10 in the jar. Thank you, Old Soul Noel.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Looks like a fairly young guy, which would make sense being called
an old soul. I'm an old soul too, but I'm an old person.
Fishing charter captain? Maybe. It looks like the Avatar. Anyways, wake up. One of the things that is not talked about much from last year is the total lack of stadium atmosphere, fans booing, things like that.
The DJ pumping the club music.
Do you think the team will respond to the atmosphere at Doak again? Last year was really bad combination, right? Bad product on the field, bad stadium to be seated in. So that did not help. I would think, the Alabama game is going to be quite electric. And I know it's not going to be 83,000 or whatever was in Oklahoma against Oklahoma in 2011, but this fan base is everybody. Listen, you guys are sick of hearing us talk about last year and what the number of wins they had and the number of losses they were. And I know a lot of the guys are new, but a lot of these coaches aren't. And there are several players that dealt with that last year. So I think they're going to really be totally dialed in. They're going to feed off that energy because it was lacking so much of last year. But that's not an excuse for why they performed the way they did. But it's definitely something we probably have not factored in a lot. But maybe when we get closer to the game, we could contextualize it a little bit better after the sneak peek this weekend at Doak when you check it out, Corey, I guess. Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see just how the new look stadium in practice, what it looks like, how it handles sound, what the porch thing looks like and how that manifests itself during the course of a game. Look, man, what I wonder about is not so much the Alabama game. You know, the Alabama game, people are going to be fired up but cautious. Kind of like, I feel like most people going to the Alabama game, most Florida State fans, and I might just, I don't know why I think I can speak for an entire fan base. I feel like they'll go into the game like, not carefree necessarily, but like, let's see what this looks like. No expectations. Let's just go have fun and see what this looks like and hope it's better. So I wouldn't think there's going to be a lot of booing unless it's a blowout. Then you have a right to boo probably. Well, you have a right to boo. It's your ticket. Do whatever you want. What I wonder about the atmosphere is the next real home game, which is Miami. You know what I mean? Like, what will that atmosphere be like? I'm not expecting a great one for Kent or East Texas, but Miami, which at the start of October, what would you be there? 3-1, 4-0, or 3-1 in that game? That could be a really cool, raucous crowd, and we'll see how the team responds to that. There'll be nervous energy, obviously, for the Alabama game, but I also think they'll be like, I just think Florida State fans will go into that game being like, I don't know, not a ton to lose because you're not expecting to win. Other than our man Spencer, you're not expecting to win. You just want them to keep it close. And then if you're in the game late, it could be a really fun atmosphere.
Garrett Taylor. I'm not even going to say the numbers. It's Garrett, everybody. Give it up for Garrett.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man.
Thank you. What's up? What position group would handle injuries the best? Which one would be devastating? Obviously don't want any, but it is football, and it is that's another thing too. Like, what we have this terrible injury thing that I've not intimately familiar with.
Maybe in this it's like they don't, maybe they don't have, Florida State doesn't have a ton of depth. And look, when you go 2-10, I get it that people you can have a pretty defeatist, pessimistic outlook on the program. So yeah, it feels like, of course this happens to Florida State. Your top 5 receivers all get the flu the night before the game or something.
What about receiver? What if they lose Deuce or Squirrel White?
Yeah, that is a major one. And I would have said, the 13 team was so really good, so loaded, that for most of those games, it wouldn't have mattered if Rashad or Kelvin or Kenny missed a game or 2 or 5. But the fact that those guys played every meaningful down of every game, got every rep, never got hurt, the 3 of those receivers, and 2 of them went over 1,000, and I think Kenny was at like 980 for the season. That's not normal. And I don't know what that team would have done if one of those guys would have gone down. They still would have won, but it wouldn't have been, historic. I think that the reason I bring up 13 is because I think there's a chance, as Malzahn said earlier this week, they have 3 wide receivers that have kind of separated themselves. Well, if one of them goes down or if 2 of them goes down, well, now you're having to pick from a pack of guys that hasn't done as much and frankly, aren't as good. So I think that could be a really, I think Deuce and Squirrel and then Boggs are guys that you feel really good about, that can play at this level. Well, Deuce and Squirrel can absolutely play at this level, and we all think Boggs is going to prove it to the world over the next 4 months that he can play at this level. The other guys, no idea and no confidence that they can. They haven't proven it yet.
Let me say something mildly ridiculous, but I am mildly sincere about it. The position group that could best handle injuries, maybe the offensive line. They like their 5.
Yeah.
Sounds like Jake Rizzi has made a really positive impression on Mike Norvell this preseason camp and this offseason. And then Andre Otto's another guy that is kind of a flex swing guy along that line. So you've like your starting 5, and then you got 2 capable kind of backups. I know it's not, you're not 10 deep, or you don't have a 2 deep of everybody on the offensive line. But if those 5 guys get nicked up, if one of them gets nicked up, you feel like you've got some options to, plug a hole and keep this thing moving along.
Yeah, to a point though, right? You can't have a litany of them, but if you have a couple of injuries that last a couple of weeks, I think you can plug in. But if you start looking at you're getting your 8th or 9th guy, you're in trouble.
I just mean if you lose Deuce, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You lose Micah Pettis I'm saying you lose him for 2-3 weeks. It's like those 2-3 games. Oh boy, you lose Micah Pettis for 2-3 games. It's like, all right, well maybe, Jake Rizzi can kind of step in and do a pretty good job.
I also think it's easier to coach around when you're Malzahn and you have this offense and you have Herb Hand. I think it's easier to coach around the loss of an offensive lineman than it is the loss of a 6'6" number 1 receiver, because you just don't have any other of those guys. That guy's a matchup problem that you just can't replicate by saying, hey, Elijah Moore, go beat Deuce Robinson. That can't happen. It's hard to coach around it. I think the answer to this, though, is defensive line.
Whoa, the most depth, you think?
No,
Not
would be the most devastating.
Oh, I'm second. I'm second with wide receiver.
Yeah, if Darrell goes down or James Williams goes down, the defensive line, as you can tell as I talk about it, I legitimately that's going to be the position I kind of have the most concern about as far as like if it was depleted, it could derail the season.
What about Amari Williams, pass rush specialist, which is kind of what we got out of him when we spoke to him on Wednesday, Corey?
Says he's a third down, fourth down jack, right? He's rushing the passer. He did say, if you didn't read the story and you should have, or watched the video, which you should have as well, he said there was a stretch in practice today, and it wasn't like he was, praising himself or bragging, but then again, he kind of was, which I'm all for because he's doing something that nobody does. He said that on one play, he had a sack as a defensive end. And then he went over to offense, and on his very first, and he was talking and joking with Malzahn because Malzahn probably wasn't happy that he just got a sack against his offense. And then he goes over to the offense, and his very first play is a touchdown catch. So, that's good. So, interesting, unique player. And I think he is going to play. I think he's a talented guy that can come in on third or fourth down and be that pass rush specialist. I don't think at 238 pounds and splitting time on the other side of the ball, he's going to be a guy you can depend on to play every down on defense. But it's nice to have a guy like that can come in and rush the passer and give you depth at tight end, like real depth, like depth. He might play both against Alabama as an 18-year-old. He might play both ways against Alabama, defensive end and tight end. Which, again, tell us in the comments. I don't remember this ever happening in college football, where a kid has played defensive end and tight end.
Shout out to whoever put that headline, Jack of two.
That was Ira. Ira
Schofel, everybody. Ira Schofel. Give it up. Give it up to our guy, the Godfather, some call him. Ed Lemmix in the house.
There you go, Ed.
Ulysses S. Grant in his back pocket. Ed Lemmix, DeLuna coffee, everybody. If you're drinking coffee and it's not DeLuna, what are you doing?
Amen, brother.
What's up, Aslan and Corey and the Warchant family? It's been a while. Glad Wake Up Live is back.
We are too, Ed. We are too. Tell your beautiful bride we said hello. Yeah. Hope she's doing well. Hope you're both doing well. Hope we get to see you, if not this weekend for the big sneak peek, then in a couple of weeks.
James,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ed. That was very, very nice.
Yes. Let me just play it. Guys,
this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
James says, if Gus could get Squirrel, Lucas, and Danzy all on the field together, especially in a bunch look, that would be a tough cover with that speed. Tommy Castellanos, too.
Yeah, and thank you, James. When you look at I'm not going to talk about Tommy's athleticism again. I go over the top with it, and I talk about it too much. I'm beating that dead horse, but that is unique. That is something that you can't really prepare for, a quarterback moving like that. And then you throw in a Lucas and a Squirrel and a Danzy. Man, that's a uniquely talented, at least speed-wise, trio to go along with a unicorn at quarterback for that kind of athleticism and speed. You could do some things with this, man. And luckily, I feel like you have an offensive coordinator that has proven he can make things like this work. He can make a mobile quarterback or a speed guy that maybe isn't a every down back, but is a matchup problem when he's in the game. I don't expect Danzy to play a ton. He's not ready to be an every down wide receiver. He's learning the position. But I was talking about this today. There was a fan that was talking to me, Aslan, at Orange Theory. 500th class, by the way, today. Thank you, everyone. Sit down. When I'm on the treadmill, the fastest I'll go on a treadmill and feel even somewhat safe is 12. And that's when I'm usually I'm at about it. I'm at 10.5 is where I top out. Because not that I can't go with a 12. I'm literally worried my feet will fall off I'll fall down. Yeah. But I've done it a few times. I've done a 12 a few times. This isn't to brag. It's to say that I'm scared I'm going to die on a treadmill. like I'm going to hit my head because my legs can't go that fast at a 12. And Mekhi Danzy runs a 24. That's crazy. He runs 24 miles an hour. I know it's not for a, I know, 50-year-old not athlete versus a national champion caliber track athlete, but 24 miles per hour. Just think about the Clemson game, Aslan. He came in as a running back, that Danzy did. We knew he wasn't getting the ball. We knew it had to be some sort of wheel route. It was, I have to imagine Clemson knew it was going to be that too. They knew who he was, and if he's in the game, this is what he's happening. They were prepared for it. The safety or linebacker, whoever went over to get him by the sideline, he still ran right past him, like he wasn't even running. And this is Clemson's defense. This guy is a unique physical specimen when it comes to speed. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But I don't expect them to do much against Alabama. I could be wrong.
Didn't catch the ball, though.
He didn't. It was underthrown. But yes, it would have been nice if he'd have caught it.
Let's see here. Robert says, I guess we're over Conrad Hussey leaving. I don't know. Should we play some violin music or something? I don't know. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I had him ranked highest out of anybody in the company on my preseason top 40.
And you had him
maybe him, 30. Shaheem, because, I think by that point, I finally figured out in my head that Earl was going to play, more the Rover. So, I mean, I can't imagine. I don't know what he did. And even if I knew what he did, I don't think I'd be able to say it on this airwave right here. But yeah, to leave at this part in the game is pretty crazy. But I don't think he was clearly in the plans. I can't imagine what he would have done to get kicked out of here if he was in the plans that they had, Corey.
We also, we hadn't heard his name much at all, even before, just like we hadn't heard Shaheem's name at all. We hadn't heard Hussey's name. All we'd been hearing about, Kirkland sometimes, Earl Little all the time. Those were the two names that came up. I wasn't, he wasn't in my top 40. But, I'm not trying to kick dirt on the kid, but I don't think that's a big loss. But not because he can't play. Clearly, he didn't seem to be a part of Tony White's defense. So you're talking about, at best, a backup safety, perhaps a third string or fourth string safety. And it sucks. I hope he lands somewhere and gets his career going, because I do think he has talent, and I do think he proved that over the last 2 years, but not to the level where you're really upset that he left.
Well said, Corey.
Thanks, buddy.
Colin writes in, Aslan, I know you're not very high on Bama. However, last time Kalen DeBoer had Ryan Grubb, they had one of the most productive offenses in the country. Does that impact anything to you? They also had Michael Penix.
Yeah.
And Rome Odunze and
who was the other guy? Didn't they have 2 first-round wide receivers?
Jalen, he plays for the Bucks. I think they also have, they might have had 3. I think one of their guys also plays for the Patriots, maybe. But there's good synergy there. That helps for sure. I am most down on Bama's defense. I just don't know if they have the defense that you kind of always feared and you've always kind of related to Alabama, with just absolutely mammoth yet athletic defensive linemen, guys able to pressure the quarterback without having to do anything exotic and bring more than 4 guys. They have a pretty good secondary. It seems that's probably the strength of their defense, but they got a lot of guys that missed a lot of spring, missed a lot of time late last season due to injury. Guys like Deontay Lawson, I keep bringing him up, but he's probably their leader on defense, and he hurt himself ACL against Oklahoma, which was late November. So I think there's some silver lining to this matchup in week 1 against Alabama. You only can't look for a silver lining because the game has been scheduled despite Corey's, demands to not have the game played. But you just feel all right, this is not absolute peak Saban defense Alabama, and you're breaking in a brand new quarterback for the first time. So things could be a lot worse. But yeah, there is probably a powerful part of this with those guys being kind of reunited because they really had a lot of great success everywhere they've been together. So,
yeah, but the success they've had at this level has been with Penix as the quarterback, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Again, doesn't mean they can't be good with Ty Simpson at their quarterback. Doesn't mean they can't win the national championship this year. We have no idea. But as I've done this more in my life, I figure maybe it's just the Jimbo, going through the Jimbo era. It seems that the quarterback matters more than the OC. Jimbo was a good OC. Then he got Jameis Winston. He had the best offense of all time. Then at Texas A&M, he had nothing close, and his offense was horrible. Or at least, not compared to Florida State last year. Those were bad Texas A&M offenses for the most part. When you get good quarterback play, your offense is good. When you get average to below average quarterback play, your offense typically sucks. And so DeBoer, Grubb, Bill Walsh, throw anybody in there, man. Andy Reid, if your quarterback's not any good, your offense probably won't be great. So, but it is, I think Florida State fans would have rather Grubb not come back and join forces. But yeah, I think when they were in Indiana, DeBoer, when he was in Indiana, it was Penix, right? And they took Penix to Washington,
yes.
And then that happened. And hey, apparently Penix got in a fight today at one of those dual practices with the Titans.
Nice.
I like my quarterback showing a little scrap.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Get after him, Penix. I'm a Falcons fan. Sorry if y'all didn't know that. So I'm hoping Penix is the real deal.
As weird as this might sound, I'd much rather face Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams with this offensive line than Ty Simpson and Trent Richardson with this offensive line. That's another thing too. I just don't know if they have a elite running back. But yeah. I guess when you have an elite offensive line, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But
I'm going to say they have a good one. I'm going to say they have a couple good ones.
I mean, who doesn't?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if you have a good offensive, if you're at Alabama, you're not going to have a bad running back. If you have just a good running back, you don't need a superstar. If you have a good running back to go along behind a really good offensive line, they're going to run. That's going to be a problem.
Imagine if they had a guy that ran for 1,400 yards last year, and they at the expense of not having a guy like Ryan Williams out wide. I would be much more fearful of that than this reality that we're living with. I'd just be like, man, if they got this guy, they're going to be able to run the ball and then work off play action because this guy's going to be able to eat because he's a talented running back. He's elite. And he's got an awesome offensive line. They don't necessarily have that. So Daryl Jackson, just
do what you do, Daryl. Yeah, I think what I was trying to say, though, is I just assume Alabama's going to run the ball. No matter who's at running back, I feel like they're going to have a pretty strong running game this year and a pretty strong running game on August 30th. It scares me a little that they also have a potential superstar top 5 pick out wide that can really hurt you and make have a one play 80-yard scoring drive.
If Ryan Grubb was such a genius, he wouldn't have gotten jettisoned from Seattle.
Tell him, P. Simpson. You tell him.
Seahawks were middle of the pack offensively. They weren't horrible. But yeah,
was he the OC? Was he the OC at Seattle?
Yeah. That's why he didn't go to Tuscaloosa. He was
That's
offered the
cool.
job.
He got to stay in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that cool because he didn't last the whole year, but it was cool that he got to get a promotion and stay in the city.
P. Simpson also asked, if you had to start one of these 3 quarterbacks for the Alabama game, who are you riding with?
Okay.
2003 Chris Ricks, 2007 Xavier Lee, or 2025 Tommy Castellanos?
2025 Tommy. I was thinking about Xavier Lee. I remembered when I knew that it just wasn't going to work out. Folks, I'm going to take you back to 2006, a game against Wake Forest in the rain. It's not just that they lost 30-0. How big was Xavier Lee, Aslan?
6'5", 230?
Maybe, right? It could run like an athletic kid. He might have been 6'6", but definitely 6'5". 230 is the important part. They did, against Wake Forest, they did a QB read play. They had started incorporating that a little bit into their game a little bit. This was 2006, so almost 20 years ago now. When I knew Jeff Bowden's career was over and Xavier Lee was never going to be the guy was when Xavier Lee pulled the ball out of the belly of, let's say, Lorenzo Booker. The whole defense went with Lorenzo Booker. He comes around the right side. There's a gap. It's a hole. People stand up because it's exciting. The linebacker comes up near him and he slides down for a 3-yard gain. The same season that Tim Tebow was playing quarterback in Florida, you have your 6'5", 230 quarterback one-on-one with a defender, and he's either been taught to do it and told to do it, or he just does it instinctually because there's a defender in his way. He slides down for a 3-yard gain, and I'm sure they punted 2 plays later or turned it over. And I'm like, yep, this offense sucks. This OC sucks. This quarterback doesn't have it. You can tell some things sometimes. So anyway, Xavier Lee in 2007 against Alabama had a really nice game and then kind of devolved back into the, unfortunately, to the Xavier we saw for the rest of his career. Castellanos, another point, Castellanos in that instance isn't sliding. And neither is Chris Ricks. Neither one of those guys are sliding at all. So I shout out to both those guys.
Knoll fans got Xavier Lee listed at 6'4", 234 in 2007.
Okay, yeah, 237, and he's sliding down. But it's kind of how the quarterbacks were coached back then, I guess. They weren't, but that just, it boggles the mind. I'll always remember that play. It always sticks out in me. But yes, it invested, to hyperbolic Knoll's point, it invested Xavier Lee that was encouraged to be an athlete and encouraged to use his athleticism and run over people. Would have been something perhaps to see. Getting it in at the wire. Look at this guy.
Let's go! Bree Pereira, everybody. Pillar. So is our guy James B.
Yeah.
Also Pillar. Yeah, I got to bring this, I think, to Corner Pocket on Friday before the Alabama game, right? Get some.
Absolutely. Spencer, I think Spencer's getting close to Pillar territory, too.
Yeah.
And Z-Chan. Is Z-Chan on there? He's got to be a pillar. He's absolutely a pillar if he's not.
He was in Charlotte before the ACC championship game at whatever that Southern Social, whatever the name of that place was. It was awesome. But we didn't, or maybe it was the LSU game in 2023 in Orlando, but we didn't have a marker there. Somebody stole the marker that I had, I think. So He couldn't sign it, but Z-Chan he's a pillar as well. Ray says, greetings. Despite all the hate, I'm still grateful for Jimbo Fisher and the great years.
Amen.
I'm still bouncing between Biloxi and Houston. Hope we can compete with Bama. Let's all hope for the upset. Go Noles.
There you go, Ray. Big play, Ray. Well, thanks, buddy. Thanks for chiming in. And, I think I got to imagine every Florida State fan is grateful for the Jimbo years, the great Jimbo years. It just, gosh darn, man. I don't want to get bogged down with, like, lamenting, but I thought he was more competitive than he ended up being, meaning he would do anything it takes to win, including firing friends as coaches, including changing offenses, anything to win. Nick Saban completely changed the way he coached and sped up his offense and continued to win because he's really, really competitive. It seemed to me that Jimbo liked calling plays and being in control of the offense of the quarterback more than he liked winning. And that was a bummer to me because I thought Florida State was set up in this conference to, quite frankly, have the run that Clemson's had. They were set up. They were poised for it. The last 12 years could have been Jimbo. The stadium would be named Jimbo Fisher Stadium. I really thought we were heading that direction because the guy is a football savant, man. He is a football savant, and he can recruit and he can evaluate. And gosh darn it, it just went off the tracks.
Last one on the way out. New album dropping, Corey. How are the thoughts? Has Stephanie talked to you all about the new Taylor Swift album about to drop?
Way too much. And I think apparently the Kelsey brothers dropped the podcast with her at 7:00 tonight. Yeah. So I think she's not watching this right now. She's already started watching the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey podcast. So pray for me, everyone. Hopefully she'll have her AirPods in. Not that I don't like those two people. They're fine. I don't care about their relationship necessarily that much and how they got started. But yes, she has talked to me. She's like, I'm going to die if it's all brand new music. She thinks it might be new, like old songs re-recorded. No. But she was very excited, and I was just trying to watch the Braves lose. So I was half listening.
Trailer Swift, the name of this contribution.
It's a funny question.
Did Usman Kromah shove Blake Nicholson into the portal? I can't believe they posted that video.
Yeah, Blake's got to be like, guys, really?
Didn't Tennessee, apparently somebody threw an interception and they blurred out the quarterback in their marketing promotional video and it became a thing? They're like, why
I'll tell you what, though. I also, Blake can say that, like, really, guys, really? But, hey, man, don't get thrown to the side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when somebody does something well in a practice, it's usually against another Florida State player. So if you want to get a highlight of yours on the website or on the social media, go slam Uzmo Chroma onto the ground. But you didn't. You got shoved aside. I did like the physicality of my man Blake Nicholson. It was a thud. It was a collision. It's just Chroma. As what did Stephon Thompson say today? He's like, he shows up to those one-on-ones angry.
Angry, yeah.
Like he goes in angry, and you better come with it. You better be physical. Which again, that's as I like to say, Aslan, that's iron sharpening iron. That gets you better, man. The next time Blake Nicholson goes against Chroma, I'm guessing, hoping Blake, you don't get thrown aside.
All right, that's a wrap for us. We'll do another one of these next week. We still got another show left for you folks this week as well. We'll speak to Patrick Surtain and players on Thursday, and we maybe get to the rest of the questions from the mailbag that we didn't get to yesterday. Thanks for all your questions, everybody.
Thank you very
thumbs
much.
Up on the way out. Also, thanks to everybody who did the super chat thing. James B, our guy T Giddy, Z Chan, Corey Bates, Never Lose Your Nerd, Game Like a Dylan, Spencer, Old Soul Knoll, Hayden, Garrett. There's more. James L, Ed Lemix, DeLuna Coffee, and Ray Pereira. Thanks, everybody. These are fun. Feels good, Corey. I'm ready now.
It feels good. It feels like we're back. It feels like we're back. It feels like we're back, buddy. We get 2 more of these, right? And then the third time we do this, and we'll be talking about the Alabama game.
That's right. Warchant.com's got you covered around the clock. Subscribe now for $1 for an access for a week. And you also will be able to enjoy a subscription to The Athletic. Head over to Warchant.com. Do it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching this live edition of Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.